The last thing I wanted to do today was cover anything political, but guess what? Here we are. We're in the middle of a government shutdown, if you were not aware. And both sides are blaming one another. But in reality, only one side has control. So the people are in the middle of mommy and daddy's arguments. And then the people, those who are deemed essential, are made to work without pay. This is affecting so many things right now, from airports to funding for programs to military, federal workers. Let's get into it. Before we begin, I want to again say thank you very much for your prayers, your thoughts, your condolences. But we got to get back to work. We got to bring you the news that you can use. Let's get prepared, because the worst is yet to come. And then in the end, I'm going to leave you with a motivational video. So this is the first U.S. government shutdown in, they say, nearly 7 years, with hundreds of thousands of workers being forced off the job and public service grinding to a halt. They're also saying that the fight is over healthcare funding. With all the cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, the cuts to SNAP, all these programs, one cannot say that it is a Robin Hood situation where you take from the rich and give to the poor. This is a hood robbing. So what does this mean? So at 12:01 a.m., federal agencies began executing this shutdown plan. National parks, museums, passport services, and loan processing are going dark. Food inspections and immigration courts will also slow. Roughly 750,000 federal workers are expected to be furloughed, with more than 1 million workers working without pay because they're deemed essential. And then the president is also saying that some of those that are being furloughed may be permanently laid off. This is essentially a man-down situation. I told you about the national parks, the museums, etc. This is also affecting the airlines. Right now, people are panicking because they don't have enough staff at TSA. Flyers should expect delays at airports. Security lanes, thanks to the partial government shutdown that began on Wednesday, is gridlock. Democrats, Republican, they failed to reach this, so it's gridlock, and it's going to affect aviation as well. So the longer the shutdown drags on, the more likely you will see longer TSA lines, flight delays and cancellations, national parks in disrepair, and unnecessary delay in modernizing travel infrastructure.
Well, first of all, we know that the most direct impact are federal workers in the military, these workers, people who are deemed essential, who have to show up to work and not get paid. I can't put a finer point on this, that the personal financial lives of these people has been upended, and it's intense. So with hundreds of thousands of people being out of work, some being forced to go to work without pay, it could cause a little bit of a dent in the economy, that these people are going to struggle, and the people that where they shop are going to struggle. And although those wages get paid back usually when the government reopens, that doesn't help you if you're fighting with your landlord.
That doesn't help if you need the money right at the second. But what about big government programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid?
Well,
Do those stay intact?
Totally intact. You'll receive benefits, SNAP programs, food stamps. Those things are actually operating as normal. The one thing I'll say is that if you have an application with one of these programs, that may be a little bit delayed.
We're at Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C., and this is one of the areas that we're going to be looking at very closely, monitoring very closely in the days ahead. After the deadline for the government shutdown has passed, since we're now in the shutdown, these TSA screeners have come to work today. They're the ones in the blue shirts, by the way. They've come to work today, starting today, and not getting paid for being at work. The same is true for air traffic controllers at Reagan National and throughout the United States. Without a paycheck after several days, TSA screeners and some others may have trouble affording public transportation to come to work. They may have trouble affording gas. They may have trouble paying for child care. When enough of these people have those issues and the lack of paychecks kind of pile up, that's when you start to get disruptions and delays because people are calling in sick.
Yes, this is happening. It officially began at midnight because lawmakers and President Trump failed to reach a deal. Both sides are now in a bitter fight over spending priorities and blaming the other. According to one estimate, up to 750,000 workers could be furloughed every day, costing them $400 million in pay every day.
As of this morning, the federal government is technically out of cash. How long will it last? No one knows. After Congress failed to reach a deal last night, tens of thousands of federal workers will be told to stay home today, furloughed without pay. Workers deemed essential, like air traffic controllers and members of the military, will stay on the job, though they won't get paid for now either.
Most TSA officers live paycheck to paycheck.
Aaron Barker works for TSA in Atlanta.
If it gets to that point where officers can't afford to come in or have to make a decision whether to purchase medication, pay daycare, or put gas in the car to come to work, they're going to have to make that hard decision, and no one really wants to do that.
But they may have to, because late last night, a funding bill did not pass the Senate.
You know, the only real victim here is the American people. This is so unnecessary and uncalled for.
And changes to Medicaid.
Our guarantee is to the American people that we're going to fight as hard as we can for their health care.
President Trump is warning his administration might use the funding lapse to push through more mass layoffs. I asked him about that yesterday.
How many federal workers do you plan to lay off?
Well, we may do a lot, and it's only because of the Democrats.
Later in the Oval Office, he upped the ante, claiming that all the workers who lose their jobs will somehow come from one party.
We'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and the Democrats, they're going to be Democrats. A lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
The uncertainty has left workers like Barker to wonder if their jobs could be on the chopping block.
It's one thing to say, hey, you may not get paid, but then to say you may not get paid forever, we're going to remove you from your job, is a whole nother thing. It's just the worst case scenario.
But where there is bad, there's always good.
This video is for you. I want to remind you who is in charge. It is not the White House, it's not Congress, but it's God. Remember that Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us that the plans that God has for us, they are for good, never to harm, but for us to prosper. The problem is we don't understand God's plans all the time. Why would he allow this? Why would he allow me to potentially have a financial issue? Why would he allow me to have to work without getting a paycheck? But God is always up to something, even when we don't understand it. So government shutdown or not, God is still going to take care of his people. And guess what? Even those that don't follow him, he always comes through for those as well. So lift your eyes to the hills from which cometh your help, and not the government. God has a plan. Trust the process.
Yeah. Here's to the good days. Here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow. I don't wanna fight no more, cause I don't feel the need no more, no. Just wanna make it stop. Maybe it's something in the water, or maybe we just hit the end of the road. Right now it doesn't even matter. It's too late not to let it go. And that's why I wish you the best and say goodbye. You start to get dressed and then we cry, cause we both know it's gonna hurt, but not as much as this does. We had a good run, don't say we didn't. I was your first love, and you were my first one. Cheers to all the memories, the venom and the remedies, yeah. Promise I won't forget, yeah. Maybe it's something in the water, or maybe we just hit the end of the road. Right now it doesn't even matter. start to get dressed and